as the name suggests here, what we're going to talk about is careers beyond the obvious. So all of you will, right, notice I say will, graduate as lawyers, all right, and you hope to have careers in that field. So what I hope to share today, and if you will bear with me, I like the fact the door is in the front, so you have to pass me if you want to leave halfway lah. Okay, so hopefully you won't, but the idea is to share different options that have come from the experience in the past, all right? So in between, I may not use the mic, because what I hope to do today is to offer you something called Enter Training, okay? Which will be a combination of a little bit of music here and there together with the content. So what are we going to talk about? Careers beyond the obvious and law beyond lawyers, right? So I like this statement. I'm not making any jokes about lawyers because you'll all see me in court soon, so I don't want to do that. But what we're going to talk about is, the first thing to find your career of your choice. I stumbled upon HR, but I have no regrets. I never looked back since, right? And hopefully, finding your personal preference to a corporate job using law as a reference will be something that I talk about. Work outside the courtroom. So now you've determined your interests. What are the options outside there? All right. Can a lawyer or anyone else, because not everybody here may be doing law, all right, enjoy HR as much as I do. And finally, what are the simple principles of do's and don'ts of career selection? Okay. To start off with, the Enter Training starts lah. No sustain. For those who know music, never mind. Imagine your career. If you try, no job too trivial. You learn the hows and whys. Imagine you're a lawyer, living in this world. Imagine now your future. It isn't hard to do. Be yourself, only better. Your work will come shining through. Imagine as a lawyer, things that people may say. They may call you a liar, but you're not gonna be the one, 'cause you will change that stigma. 'Cause a lawyer you are, but a good one. Okay, so let's get to the serious stuff, alright? So in case you, that's the lyrics lah, written specially for you all, no. By the way, I'm not a lawyer, but I dressed up just to honor all of you. Black and white, okay? So, how to select your career? I thought something that keeps it easy for you to remember. And the term is perfectly. Okay, why? Because we'll use those letters for you to remember. First and foremost, guys, you got to prioritize your interests. And what I mean by this is you have to prioritize your interests and your disinterest. Some people, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I know I want to be a lawyer, I want that qualification, but after that, what to do lah? So if you can't know what you want to do, at least figure out what you don't want to do. Okay, so the first thing you got to do is disinterest, all right? And then process of elimination. Now, what is will? Will is the desire or the interest to do something. And I'm a firm believer, I'm sure have you heard the term upskill? To upskill someone? Yeah. How many of you have ever heard the term upwill? Tak ada, right? Because there's no such thing as upping the will. You can up the skill. Things can be learned, but desire cannot be upped. So you got to figure out your interests and prioritize that, all right? Hello, welcome. Second, explore your means. Guys, all of us come from different backgrounds. The reality is some of you graduate, boom, next day you need to go there and work. So let's be realistic about that. Explore what you have. Do you have time to wait? Do you have time to really go and look out there? I'm sure you know all the stereotypes people talk about lawyers and about Gen Y la, millennials la, oh, don't know what they want la in life, okay? That's what all of us in the corporate world think. So you got to change that, right? So explore your means and be realistic. This one is important. Recognize your skill level lah, okay? So if you're really not good at something, then you must ask yourself, you may be interested as much as you can, but if you really can't do well in it, then please don't pursue. That would be like me and science. Oh my goodness, cannot laugh. I think my parents saw one look at my science result, okay, this one koya. My sister, wonderful doctor, doing really well. Me, okay? All right. Figure out all your options, okay? Which means don't just pigeonhole yourself. Oh, I did law, now I'm a lawyer. What, I'm stuck to just this law firm and then just look for law jobs and then look for everything related to legal. No, law is a fantastic foundation which you're doing. After this, branch out to other options, okay? Expect challenges ahead, not going to be rosy. There are going to be a lot of naysayers who tell you, I cannot lie, you did law, right? Just go and look for lawyer lah. Then inside you've got the desire to do something else. Don't let these people. Surround yourself with positive energy, please. Okay? Let me ask you something. So I don't know everybody else's name here. I know one or two others, but okay, won't embarrass them. So let me just ask you, if I shout at you and call you, so stupid are you? How many of you feel insulted? Okay. How many of you feel, so stupid, she calling me stupid? Correct, right? Some. So, we cannot control what people say to us, what people do to us. We can control our reaction, correct or not? So don't let yourself get upset lah by the naysayers out there. Okay, but expect challenges ahead. As they say, expect the best, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. That is prudent contingency planning. Alright? Consult others. If I really wanted to do science, stubborn lah. I want to be a doctor. Ayo, good luck to all my patients who are a doctor lah. So, if I really wanted to be a doctor, then I need to get people I trust telling me, Deepa, come on, let's be honest. I really don't think this is cut out for you. Only people you love and trust not the other capos around. Got a lot of such people. I just want to bring you down. Don't talk to people, get real feedback. And finally, I don't believe in trying your best, So you might think, wow, so garang, why don't try your best? No, it's not try, it's target your best. If you just try, okay lah. Can you imagine somebody want to go out for going to have a marriage proposal? They say, will you marry me? I'll try. Will you have and hold me? I'll try. Okay, no, you have to target your best in everything that you do. Okay, there's no trying allowed, all right? So if you remember that how you select your career is P for prioritize, E for explore, recognize your skill level. My favorite in this is actually skill level. Okay, it's a reality call. It's a wake-up call for us. Okay, next. How do you find out if you know yourself? First of all, how many of you are confident you know? Don't put up your hand for which category. How many of you are confident that you know you're an extrovert or introvert? Very few. Ask around. People will help you. Okay? It doesn't mean it's natural. Okay? You can ask around. Second, some people, everything also so emo. I'm a feeler lah. Everything I feel for you. And then some people so intellectual. I think that I love you. Right? As opposed to I feel I love you. Okay? So there is a time and place to be a thinker, feeler. Nothing wrong, because everyone has to be one of both. The world is a better place because of diversity. Right? There's nothing wrong. It's different perception. We are talking about career. So personality one, and then you must ask yourself, are you the type of person, wake up in the morning, every day 7:32 you brush your teeth, 7:46 you have your shower, okay? So you're so used to structure and routine that you can't deviate from that. Nothing wrong with that. There is jobs for people like that. And other people, be that 5 o'clock, 5:10, yeah, I'm aiming to be that 5. Okay, still at home. Some people really go with the free flow, creativity option. Nothing wrong again. This is your first way to know yourself, all right? Your personality. Next, look at what are the areas that you like. So these are just examples. I mean, it's a whole workshop if we have to do everything, right? But for today, 1 hour, if you're the type of person, remember you are a law grad. You're a law grad. If you also like numbers, maths, stats, there are lots of world out there to do things like consulting, research, banking, okay? When I was in a bank, so I know that money makes, all of you go ka-ching, all right? So let me tell you a story. There were 5 people in the bank, and this was a long time ago when I was, younger, and dinosaurs ruled the earth. So at that time, we were giving out bonus payments. And for 5 people, one of them was a law grad, I remember, and it was 2003. Yeah, 2003, so about 11 years ago. And this one person, so 5 of them were what we call the rainmakers, meaning they make rain, money like rain in the bank, okay, for these people. And one person got 26 months bonus. Do you know what's 26 months bonus? 2 years salary in 1 year, on top of the salary. Okay, so if you think banking, what to do? Customer service, no, there's so many options out there. But you must be a lawyer who enjoys math, stats, and so on. Okay? If you are the type who likes doing presentations, you like interaction with people. If you don't see more than 15 people in a day, you cannot live. You need to interact with a lot of people. Okay? You like things like that. You can do things like PR, training, customer service, sales. Again, world goes around based on everybody's jobs, right? So there's a job for everyone. Third, if you are innovative, creative, you like research, journalism, there is so much a world out there for writing. Creative writing, you have medical writing, you have medical legal writing. So there's so many subspecialties today, okay? So you can explore those things. And if you like things like counseling people, but you also like public speaking, you like to advise, you like to see people take your advice and do something with it. All right? Then you can also go into things like HR, PR, or therapy-related areas, psychology, speech therapy, all those kind of things. Okay? So these are just some examples. All right? So, and a lawyer can do all of this. The reason I gave these examples, guys, is 1, 2, 3, there's about 3 times 4, about 12. Out of these 12, I know at least 9 people who have a law background in terms of a qualification. Okay, qualification, and then they did this. So this is real, right? So how do I choose? So let's try this together, and those who like Toblerone, I have a Toblerone for you. I won't test out my throwing skills so much, but we have some Toblerone. So, let's try this. Anybody want to hazard a guess? Extrovert and there's no right or wrong, it's an opinion. But let's say you're a type of person. Remember, law is your qualification. Put that aside. Don't worry about what you're qualified in, it's law. But you're an extrovert, you're a lawyer who likes science, and you also like dealing with people. Sorry? Did someone say what? Anybody? There's no right or wrong. I come from pharma, so I started with that. We have people there's one person who is a law grad, but the person decided that it's very, I think it's a bit of a waste, poor thing, the girl. But at the end of the 4th year, the poor girl couldn't finish her degree because of monetary situation with her family. So she ended up coming into, but she did really well in her A-levels in science. So we gave a chance to her. We told her to go and do her studies on her own on the side, something else. And she did that, and she came and joined pharma sales. And she's one of the top pharma salespeople, and she's really happy. Okay? And she can actually move into becoming medical manager, but she's got actually a law studying background. Okay? So there's, again, sky's the limit, all right? Combination 2. Anybody want to try? So this person is more introverted, doesn't really like to be surrounded by people, but likes numbers, and likes structure and routine. Yeah? So could be finance or consultant also, but scientist, nothing wrong, yeah, but because it's numbers, I was trying to figure out, so maybe this person likes science and numbers. So who answered that? The fact that they answer, I need to give luck. Okay, I try, yeah? Not bad, okay. Alright, so finance or consulting. Okay, consulting is really, really fun. Because what you do when you do consulting is people consult you, you give advice based on what they're going through. Alright? Combination 3 are very important now. We talked about like and dislike. Dislike reading. And by the way, online reading is not considered reading. Okay, I mean real books. Okay, not Kindle, okay lah, huh? But otherwise we talk about real reading. Extrovert, enjoys public speaking. HR. Maybe HR, training or events, you're right. Nowadays HR, you have got so much information out there we have to read. Okay? The good news is can read online now. Okay? So there are certain, the good thing about HR is some of the books, you're dealing with people are the same, right? It's just the generations that have changed. So usually what I've read from 20 years ago till what I read today is still very relevant. Okay? Introvert, dislikes public speaking, enjoys creativity. Writer. Research consultant, yeah, writer. Okay, so when you do research, you turn that to, right, so, and it, oh. This person in the green. Such a beautiful girl. Right, okay. So let's look at some real career changes in Malaysia. All right, these are real things that have happened, right? A lawyer moved into a multinational company, enjoys writing. So you think about what do you do as law? Tell me some of the things you all are used to doing as a lawyer, as a student of law. What are some of the things? Do you read a lot? Yes. Absolutely, right? So much of reading. Okay, what else do you do? Write. Right. Where does the writing come from? Practice. Sorry? Practice. Okay. And your opinion, right? Oops, sorry. Yeah, it comes from your opinion, right? Legal profession is sharing your opinion and finding a reference. Is that right? Your opinion and backed up with a reference, with a frame of reference. Have I got it completely wrong? No? Sort of that? Yeah. So that's why this person ended up doing really, really well. Okay, found their calling in communications director. So you imagine, communication director, they're dealing with people, doing research, doing writing, using all those legal skills, but at the same time in a creative format. Okay? Engineer to banker. Technical mindset, but really this person enjoyed numbers. So you're thinking, what on earth would an engineer do in banking? In banking, there's a very interesting, complex role called structured finance. Okay, and structured finance, you think, MRT work. It's not a $2 million project, right? It's billions of dollars, right? So that financial element of how the money goes out each step of the way is structuring the finance. So it's a very complex way of deciding which loan goes out to who are the suppliers and the partners being paid. Okay? Doctor to GM is a real story. Our general manager today in Roche. For those who don't know Roche, by the way, I need to tell you a little bit about Roche as well. Swiss pharmaceutical, probably about number 5 or 6 in Malaysia, but number 1 in cancer treatment. We are the leading company for oncology care, okay, in the world. And this person is really nice because our GM for now still has a patient view because he's a doctor at heart. But of course, we're in pharmaceutical, so it's patient centricity, business sense. That's the combination. Accountant to headhunter, yeah, so using the financial background. And finally, we also have people who've gone from banker to baker, okay, and running a really good chain of places that's happening at the moment, all right? She didn't allow me to name the place, but let's just say it's a very reputable cupcake chain. Okay, and especially for lawyers, 3 areas which are really happening today and new. It's a lot of things, I'm sure you've read a lot about governance, right? So there's a big view and a big push for governance, anti-bribery, personal data protection, all those kind of things. So companies that in the past may not have given due regard to jobs where legal can support, these are new jobs out there. And if you go in and you look at the job street or you go and look at any website, you will actually find that. These are, today, I pulled out some real jobs available already for lawyers. Not in a necessarily, this one of course is a law firm, but this is today's jobs advertisement. Do you know what FMCG is? Anybody know what FMCG stands for, first of all? Okay, let me tell you what it stands for. Fast moving consumer goods. Okay, that's what, so can you give me an example of FMCG? What is a fast moving consumer good? Lovely ladies here with long hair. Ooh, Palmolive. Okay, one of those, right? So fast-moving consumer goods are companies that sell things like shampoo, toiletries, Ribena, you know, all those kind of things. It moves fast, because you put on the shelf, it moves fast. That's why it's FMCG, okay? And then over here, we don't know what company, but it's a market leader and they're looking for. So these are internal jobs, and these are. So even today, there continue to be jobs out there for lawyers outside law firms. Okay? So, in case you're wondering how you will manage that, time for into training. First you were afraid, you were petrified, kept thinking you may never be successful in your life. But then you stopped and got prepared, being the best that you can be, and you grew strong, and you made everyone believe. Oh yeah, that's you. You will survive. Well, just keep working hard, doing all that you do so with pride. If you spent just any nights feeling sorry for yourself, remember you. Yes, I mean you. You will survive. Okay? In case you haven't figured out, my hobby is music. Okay. So, what else can you do? So we talked about using your personality, using some of your skills, and finding what's available out there. So let's actually talk about some real possibilities of jobs outside legal. Alright, so I've just done things general because it's not specific to industry. So let's start, yeah? Advertising and PR. Anybody here seems to think that advertising and PR is interesting? Yes, interesting, but you're probably thinking, interesting, but where am I going to fit in? Okay, so we'll talk. I have an example later about the things you need to consider, pros and cons of advertising. And at the end of the day, advertising PR, it's all about the brand. Okay? Sales, resilience. The ultimate test of sales is, can you sell ice to an Eskimo lah? Right? Then you know you are good at sales. Alright? IT. Now IT, I feel very sorry for my IT colleagues and friends, okay? Because the word on the street is, for some particular areas of study, and law will never be that, what the IT grad learns in year 1 is now no longer relevant by year 4. Technology moves so fast. So they are thinking of changing IT, not yet, thinking of changing IT qualification like architecture. For those who know, architecture has a break in career, a break in education. So they do a couple of, I think it's 3 plus 4, I'm not sure, or 4 plus 3. 3, then they have to work, and they come back and finish before they're qualified architect. So what I heard is that IT might be doing something like that, so that there is that element of application. Okay? Customer service, really good time and good job to be in, especially if you're legally qualified, because you know how much you can shout at the customer. Alright? You cannot shout at a customer because he or she is always right, but you must have the patience to listen and act. Yeah? Banking, like we talked about that, it's not just about the money, there's so many other areas. Of course you make money, but at the same time there's a lot of areas in banking that you can be involved in, like what I said, structured finance, treasury. Treasury is fantastic. You deal with transaction of the money from different locations. I'm sure some of you may have family members or friends in banking. Environmentalist, one of the top jobs of the future. Time magazine and Forbes talks about that. Environmentalist, again, good area for legal to go into, lawyers to go into, because then you know what all the different rights are. There are lots of activists going out there to champion the causes. Okay, and so it's all about sustainability. Psychology. The only thing to remember is it's not your problem. I did psychology, and I've had all these wonderful thoughts, illusions of grandeur that I wanted to be a child psychologist, and then my lecturer said, you cannot laugh, because you will go and cry with the children, also the problem. So, it is not your problem. You need to know yourself. I am one of the feeler people. So I feel for you, okay? So if I cannot separate how I feel with the job I do, then psychology, or at least practicing psychology, is not for me. Okay? Same thing, those planning to do criminal law, be careful who you associate with. Right. And of course, HR. Now, HR is all about, I put there, people matters, and the fact that people matter, if you know what I mean. Okay, so it's about people issues, and it's also about making sure people matter. So I got Shireen's name wrong, which is terrible on me, but the first rule of thumb in HR is remember names. Personalize it. So that's why I wanted to make sure I remembered Karishma and Kayan and Shireen. Okay? So you got to try and do that. Like in the company, it doesn't matter if it's 700 people. Once you've been there, you give a chance lah. But once you've been there for a while in HR, you got to know everyone in the company, even if it's 700. So you need to be interested in people, otherwise cannot do lah. Okay? So, to our young man over there who's interested in advertising and PR, there's so many elements in advertising PR, from media to account, creative, copywriting, and so on. Okay? What are the pros? The good news is you work with multiple industries, multiple products. You get multinational exposure. Most of the advertising firms that hire somebody outside. So if they're going to hire a lawyer, chances are Leo Burnett, O&M, Mindshare, all these names that you may or may not be familiar. Okay, but they are all the people who create the things that we see around, like ads. Yeah, and you meet new people, and your creativity is fully appreciated. It's great, because if you are somebody arty or creative and you want to be in that line, that's fantastic. What are the cons? Long hours. Okay, if you leave advertising at 6 p.m., they might ask you half day. Okay, that's the type of life that you work in advertising. Okay, and I know it firsthand. Deadline pressure is important because nothing is urgent, everything was due yesterday. Okay, that's the kind of a tagline they use in advertising as well. And of course, you must be thick skin lah. Because a client don't like your work, then you terasa, then how? Okay, so it depends. Sometimes it's affordability, sometimes it's the taste, the client's taste itself. All right? Let's talk about customer service. You have to have a service mindset. You have to be patient. If you are the type who is very easily irritable when people and you're not interested in listening to people's problems, please do not get into customer service. First of all, you'll make the customer go nuts, and then you also will go nuts. Okay, so it's not aligned. Customer service, take my hands off. See, HR, the end of the day, if the employee really is doing something silly, you can say, hello, watch it lah. See, yes, customer service you cannot, because the customer is always right. So you've got to really have a high level of tolerance and patience. Only you know this about yourself. Okay? The pros, it's very nice in terms of your ability to learn the product or service. So I'm thinking back to when I was at Maxis. When I was in Maxis, I was employee number 125 when I started. That was in 1995. When I left, there were 2,000 employees. I was part of the recruitment team. Okay, it was a fantastic opportunity. But when we hired the people in customer service, and I remember the head of customer service at that time, she learned almost everything about Maxis. So she had knowledge of every department. So it's a very powerful role if what you are interested in is that industry. So you don't just learn one area of your job, you know what I mean? You actually end up, customer service, you need to know how this works. Why is the tower not working in this area? Or maybe it's green field, maybe it's brown field. You have all these terms that even the customer service person must know, even though she's not the engineer. Okay? And of course, you get a great sense of satisfaction when you resolve a challenge. And you don't have the sales pressure. Remember, the salesperson must be resilient. You still meet people, you meet new people, you deal with customers, no sales pressure. And finally, the cons, your patience, and unappreciated role, because you have to just get used to being shouted at. Nobody is going to be telling you, thank you for resolving my error in my bill, because they think you should have had the error in the first place. Right? So you'll never get thank yous. Okay, so you've got to be ready for that. Okay? And finally, HR. So, my favorite, obviously. People-oriented, you do a lot of counseling to both the business and the people. What I love about HR most is this part, because you're always dealing with people and every day is different. There's never a single, if you ask me to describe a day in the life of HR, it'll be different from tomorrow and day after and so on. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit more about that. The pros are, I've worked in 4 different industries, all different people, different industries, same people issues. Somebody doesn't like the supervisor, somebody is indisciplined, somebody is tardy, and so on and so forth. These issues are the same, just depending on different industry. Okay? So the good news is, it's room for creative because it's subjective, it's dealing with people. If you like to think differently every day, this is a good area to go in. Okay, it's not about structure or routine. The same, it's not one size fits all. You have 700 people, of course you're not responsible to keep 700 people happy. That's why you have managers in each department. But our job is to facilitate that process. Okay? And you apply judgment using the data. So you get data, I'm sure you've learned, I'm not sure if all of you have already done things like industrial relations, what stage you're at. But we use all the, first warning letter, second warning, all those kind of things is used for hiring and firing and also other judgment calls. And of course, you have opportunity to listen to both sides. But the cons, you must always be approachable lah. So if I'm having a bad day, I'm not allowed to have a bad day lah at work. Okay, because people must always know that they can come to you and consult you if you want, right? Counseling and consult. And you must learn you can never please everyone. Okay, we went on a company trip 3 years ago to Phuket. Good not? Nice, right? Company trip, no, paid by the whole company to go to Phuket. Still people say, why not Bali? Okay, do you know we provide breakfast every day for all employees? Then they say, why so much tuna filling? Okay, so you can never please everyone, and that's the job of HR, you must understand. You have to just balance that. Okay? So, who can enjoy HR? So let me talk to you now a little bit more on the day in the life of HR. Alright? First part, attraction. Let's say I am my current company, Roche, and I want to attract you to join us. So as HR, we have to be responsible to brand the company, employer branding. We have to be responsible to decide who to work with to recruit. For example, is it JobStreet? Is it a headhunter? Is it JobsDB? There's so many other companies there. Got free plug, huh? But yeah, okay. Right? And of course, what is the business needs? Do we need 5 people? Do we need 10 people? So we do what is called workforce planning. Okay, current company size 250, and our revenue size is now 170 million. If we want to grow to revenue 190 million, 20 million projection in 2 years, how many extra people we need? Okay, those are the type of things you have discussion with the business leaders lah. Okay, you don't make the decisions alone. Training, coaching, counseling, I think you can tell I really enjoy that. Okay, so coaching and training and counseling is nice. Counseling not so nice all the time because usually it's grievance handling, okay? But training and coaching is good fun. Comp benefit recognition, employees enjoy it much more than we do, okay? Because they're getting the compensation benefits, but it's actually nice. If you are a HR, if you are a person who likes numbers, likes statistics, doesn't quite like all the training and all that, Comp and Ben is actually a very nice, interesting area to start with in HR and figure your way out. Okay, so you just have a look and see, I really like numbers, I like looking at the research, it shows me that this company, that company, this company all pay at this level, how come we pay so low? Oh, we have to increase. So do market research, do proposals and so on, alright? Engagement. So how do we engage our employees? Motivation, customization to their needs, and industrial relations. I'll give you an example. So when I came into Roche, about 5 years ago, we had one type of benefit for everyone. So it was fixed benefit. It means that we gave dental, optical, medical, let's say, all those kind of benefits. But the 25-year-old sales rep has perfect eyes and perfect teeth. Don't need to go to dentist or optician. But then there is a 45-year-old woman or man who may want to pay for a child's education. So what do? We change the whole thing and call it flexi benefit. So the same amount of money is given to Miss 25-year-old and Miss 45-year-old. They use it for what they need. So customization, really nice, right? To do the research on how do we do this. Cost impact to company, 0. Why? Same one. But at least now it meets the need. So guess what? The 25-year-old started using it for things like gym membership. But the 45-year-old would start using, so nobody was doing things that they didn't need anymore. All right, and that's all about HR and customization. IR, I have some examples for you of cases in a minute. And finally, retention. We want to keep the people there. So how do we personalize that? And how do we manage our talent? Okay? So I want to show you 3 particular situations, and let's do, you're all going to fall asleep on me very soon. So I want to find out from you, how do you think these situations panned out? These are real cases. I'm not mentioning the company name, of course, for confidentiality. All right? What do you think happened? I won't mention the location that this case went to as well. The employee came and said, please lah, I got red paint, my car all gone, loan shark coming after my family. I had to use the money lah. I pay back, but I just had to use the money when the customer gave me. Only 3.5. Okay, I'm going to add some context to it. Employee is a junior employee. So labor intensive work covered under Employment Act, okay? So you know salary level, number 1. 18 years service with the company, number 2. Okay? So what do you think happened in the end when we fired the person? Fired the person, obviously. What do you think happened when it went to court? She took a case. Okay, so without bad-mouthing this location of where the case was, you know what the judge said? You ingat senang lah lepas 18 tahun nak buang kerja orang? Tolong settle. So they thought that after 18 years of service, this employee was allowed to steal the money, is it? That means what, after 5 years you can steal 1,000, after 10 years steal 2,000? I don't know what they meant. We as HR were thinking, how can? It's so wrong. So of course we appealed. Finally we won at the high level because we didn't want to settle. Okay? So I just want to show you these are real situations. You come into HR, you will work on these cases. Hopefully not too many because you don't want too many cases. Okay, second one. So this person, employee, very good performer, no? Okay, that means when the work is given to this person, wow, fantabulous, first class work. But discipline koya. Until even the client complains. Look at the number of times, documented back to evidence. Aren't you all say that you advise HR, right? Make sure you document, you know exactly what's happening. Fine, we documented. The access card system shows the person is at least 30 to 45 minutes late to client visits or when clients come, over 20 times in 1 year. What do you think? Can we fire a person? Yes or no? Different views? Anybody want to share anything? I'm not a lawyer, so I have no idea if you say what is right or wrong. What are the things we need to consider in this situation?
Reason.
Reason? Okay, what else? Strong performer. Anything else? Okay, the problem with this, and where I said that we cannot do anything, is the boss never told him before. So you can't just suddenly decide, now it's number 21, enough. Why didn't you tell him at number 5, and number 10, and number 15? Correct? Would you agree? So we said, let's not risk this. You can't suddenly decide, okay, now it's too much, you get out. We're paying him bonus because he's a fantastic performer, paying him incentives, right? But we have to tell the person consistently, back to the first warning, or first letter, second warning, and so on and so forth, right? And last but not least, my favorite. So this person was fired. It was in banking. Very kasihan, right? But they fired her, and she didn't appeal. They talked to her and told her that it is to make an example of her, but the person actually helped her get another job. They just wanted the company to know that this is not acceptable. Because as a bank cashier, I'm sitting here, I have access to this customer's till, right? It's only 5 cents because tak cukup bank, tak cukup bus fare. But it's because of my job that I have access to that. It's a situation, it's my privilege to have access to that. Nobody else can have access to that. So, to make it a story or a example to everyone else, they fired her, but they helped her find something else. Okay, and she was, you know, junior enough to find another role somewhere else. Okay, but these are the type of HR job, but legal related situations. Of course, I don't make these decisions on my own. So, in our case now in Roche, we don't have in-house legal because there's not enough work for an in-house lawyer. But we consult with the firm. We have someone on retainer that we work with, and we always call her to ask questions and consultation. Okay? So why do I love HR? Very simple. To talk about it. First of all, because it's fun. It deals with people. So to me, if it's not fun, oh my gosh, I can't do the work. All right? I like working with people. It's team-oriented. Okay? And back to the whole idea of your interest and your skill, I hope you guys find something that is fun for you and that meets your need. It's stimulating because, like I said, I know for a fact what I did today till 3 o'clock is not going to be the same as what I do tomorrow and day after. It's never, ever, ever the same. All right? And finally, it's me. It combines what I love, which is working with people, and what I'm good at, which I hope and humbly believe is working with people. Okay? So to have the pairing of the passion, the interest, and how I prioritize it with my skill set, I think is a true blessing, and so I really consider myself lucky in being able to find that. And that's my wish for all of you, okay, when you qualify as lawyers. So, in case you're wondering, what is this lady talking about now? What does she do, Sua? How she get to where she is, okay? So let me just tell you about my personal goal was, I want to be a HR professional. I want someone to say, oh, Deepa's a HR professional. It doesn't have to be, oh, she was HR director in, she's HR pharma, or she's HR banking, or she's HR telco. I didn't want to be pigeonholed. I wanted to be a HR professional in my own right. So I charted my career journey like that. And that's what I suggest and recommend to you. What is your sweet spot, guys? 28 to 30 years old. By the time you reach that age, okay, you need to figure out what is your career trajectory. You're allowed a few days to sort of muck around, play the fool, find out, I think I like this, I think I like, that's okay. By the time after that, because you know why, the managers of today are even younger, 5 to 7 years younger than it was of my generation, Gen X. Okay, that being the case, some of you are going to be, I hope, most of you are going to be leaders by the time you're that age, which was not the case in the past. Okay, so if you talk to your parents, you'll find that maybe their first manager job was when they were 33, 35, and all that. Today, even at Pharma, we have sales managers who are 28 and 30. So what I mean is your sweet spot, you've got to figure out what you want to do with your life by the time you're around 28 to 30. So for those planning to do masters, and so on and so forth, that's what I urge you to do. Okay, so sorry, Larry a bit now, the presentation. I graduated in psychology in 1992. I told you it was when dinosaurs ruled the earth, all right? Then I did recruitment, so I did headhunter job for a while. Then I moved into Maxis. I did training and recruitment as well over there. And so we had the privilege, all the Maxis centers that you see around, I love it because I always go there and I feel like, so nostalgic lah, because we hired the first group of people to work there and so on, right? And then in 1998, now this is where I really did my growing up, because I was in a bank, and the guys will know, y'all know Ajax football team? Am I pronouncing it right? Ajax, okay, Ajax, so ABN AMRO at that time, all right? Or RBS as it's called today. And over there I really had, 4 promotions, and I did most of my growing up there. So I started in training and recruitment, and I ended up managing HR for Malaysia, Vietnam, Philippines. Okay, so that is where it was really nice by 2005, yeah? And then I moved to DHL, and I was started off as HR manager, and then I moved to the Southeast Asia role for HR development for Southeast Asia. So again, HR. And finally now, I'm a HR director at Roche, and it's pharmaceutical, and I do global projects. Why? I'm not mobile. I don't want to be based in Basel, in Switzerland, or US, okay? So my husband is here, I'm happy to be based in KL, but they give me opportunity to do global projects from Kuala Lumpur. Okay? So that's my personal journey, all right? And finally, what do employers look for? Sorry, before that, I need a sip of water. Any questions from anyone?
Yeah.
Either you come, oh sorry, yes.
Yeah. What?
Yay! Your name, please.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
Cool. No, your name, please.
Kaylen.
Kaylen. Oh, okay, Kaylen. Yes.
So, how do people who graduate with law degrees typically end up working in IT?
In IT.
Yeah.
When you okay, so the question was, how do people who graduate in law typically end up working in IT? The first answer to that is it's not typical. So I wouldn't say typical at all. I would say you need to be very technically savvy. You have to have an interest in that. So what will happen is, chances are IT is one thing you notice. I didn't put IT as an example of a field because I know very few people in that. It's almost like you must, I hate to say it, you must be almost willing to set aside your law background unless you're going to work in IT industry in a legal role. So I have a friend who is now in GE. How many of you know GE? Yes, you know General Electric Company? Yeah. And I was just sharing the story. It's so nice. I was talking to one of the technical support people, not law, and I asked them what they do. And you know what GE does, right? The technicians make nuts and bolts and stuff for things. But the response the person gave me was fantastic because he said, oh, I build bridges and planes. I'm like, what? Yeah, my job builds bridges and planes. Because without the nut and bolt, you can't build a bridge or a plane, right? So it's that ability to connect. So for those of you who are looking at IT, what I would suggest is you must get IT savvy. You must keep yourself relevant. You must be on every possible field or side course of study to complement your legal background. But the best way to step in is be legal in an IT industry. So maybe look for jobs that are legal executive in an IT firm and so on and so forth. Okay? And HP, Dell, all these people, Google, they all have legal jobs. So you can vouch for that. Okay? Any other questions? Okay, so we talked about your personality, talked about your interests and your skill set. So what do we employers look for? All right, so when you have a group of employers out there, all different industries, what are we looking for? Very important that you're not a bookworm, right? And neither are you, so academic, You need to find something that complements you as an individual outside. You don't have to have talent in art la and music la and sports la and everything. No. Find something that you can say, helps to showcase yourself beyond just your books. Okay, it can be, talent, listening is a talent. I'll talk about that in a minute. Many people can't listen, a lot of people can talk. I always say that's why God gave you 2 ears, 2 hands, 1 mouth. Right? Yeah. Prepare. Please do your homework. The worst thing that can happen when you go for interview, doesn't matter if you have fantastic qualification, first class honors law, doesn't matter. When people say you have any questions, no. Bad answer. Prepare something. Okay? Be humble, guys. No job is too trivial. Okay, so I'll tell you a little trick we apply. When we do interviews in the office, it's funny, because there's a form to fill. And some people don't like to fill form. Very action. I sent resume already. No need to fill form. I'm here to meet Miss Deepa. They'll tell my colleague, HR exec or the recruitment exec, I'm here to meet Miss Deepa for interview. No need, I got my resume already, all the information is there. Damn action, no. Then, my staff will tell me, this person also, that one arrogant. Okay, don't worry, so I'll go and see the person and I'll say, excuse me, do you mind, you need to fill in. No, I'm here for interview with Miss Deepa. I already told, no need. Then I'll say, oh, actually yes, hi, I'm Deepa. I was just in a rush just now, that's why, yeah. Okay, suddenly change lah. So what is so difficult to be humble and to be nice to everyone, correct or not? Yeah, so some trick that we also do is to watch and see whether they say good morning, good afternoon, good evening or thank you to the receptionist and the tea lady. How hard is it somebody bring you a glass of water or open the door for you or get you organized and you know what I mean? You don't even say thank you for that. Right? So humility is really important. No job is too trivial. Right? Without the cleaners, the janitors cleaning the place, we can't stay here, we can't work here, we can't study here. Everybody has a job to play, okay? Enthusiastic, okay, big man agrees. Enthusiastic. So, show interest, but don't overdo it lah. Some people come like stalker, very scary. Okay? Please don't overdo the interest in the company or the job. You show sufficient interest, but very difficult to tell you, okay, this one is one-to-one, if you all want later, we can talk about that, alright? Understand yourself. For sure, you will get a question. So, tell me a little bit about yourself. What are you particularly good at? Now, what is the textbook answer? Textbook answer, I can say, I am very hardworking, I'm very committed, and I'm very organized. Any of you can say the same answer, right? So you must prepare examples. It's understood. But guess what? You must prepare for your weakness. Because everyone has a weakness. Again, don't be so lansy and say, well, actually, I don't have any weakness. I'm so perfect, right? Because that is not going to be the truth, right? So you make sure you prepare, but it's okay. So if they say, my weakness is that I can be impatient sometimes. I feel that if a deadline is coming and I haven't heard from the person, I get a little bit anxious and I may follow up with the person too much. So it's okay, share a weakness, yeah? I talked about this already, be nice to everyone. So in summary, if I need you to take away one thing, 3 levels of what you must do for yourself. First one, make sure you have, your interest is there lah. Interest counting already, we know your interest is done. First is know your knowledge and your skill level. Second, be confident and assert yourself. Not aggressive, Assertion and aggression, 2 different things. Alright, so not be aggressive, but be assertive, assert yourself. Asians, especially Asian women, sometimes when we do interviews globally, the Asian women always come out as being so apologetic. Alright, so when you want to share opinion generally, and I'm talking about myself, please, first person, point this way, so many fingers pointing at myself. If I want to share opinion, sometimes I used to do this, if I may, or if you don't mind me saying, or in my humble opinion, these are all negative, pulling you down women talk that we do, and we don't assert ourselves enough. The data is proven because when we do interviews at US, Europe, and so on, and other places, what's wrong in being confident? You can be equally confident, as long as you're humbly confident. Okay, so last but not least, humility. This is the line. So if I talk about a line, this is the line of, let's say, confidence. Okay, right in the middle, confidence is here. Too little confidence, because you think you're doing humility, after a while, be careful, you will look incompetent. Too much confidence, you look arrogant. Find the middle ground. You guys know yourself. I'm not calling anybody Too humble or too confident or arrogant? But you know yourselves and watch that space. So people skills are important, and I don't mean Facebook friends, right? So any other, for those who can't see, it says any other people skills besides 400 Facebook friends. So what are the evergreen skills? It doesn't matter whether it was my grandparents' generation, my parents' generation, mine, or you guys. These are what I consider to be the 5 main evergreen skills. First one, problem solving. Not troubleshooting. Can anybody tell me, you've heard that term, troubleshooting maybe? Can anyone tell me the difference between troubleshooting and problem solving? Pick up the word. All of you are very articulate. Come on. What is the difference in the terminology? Why troubleshooting is not necessarily the better one? Problem solving is better.
Troubleshooting is just finding the problem.
Find the problem. Very clever lah. Solve the problem. We're going to do. Okay, so problem solving is you have a creative, open mindset to look at assumptions. It doesn't matter how junior you are. You go in when you're a fresh graduate, 24 years old, 23 years old. Be a problem solver. You'll be very well appreciated. Okay. Second skill, adaptability. Okay, be a chameleon. Be ready to change and what I call flex your style. Now I'm talking to all of you. Okay, I'm much more casual. When I present to the board of directors, I don't present with the la and the ma and the kautim la. Correct enough? But if I talk to you like this, then you will think I am so arrogant and full of myself, right? So I do not present in the same way when I present to a group of students as I would to the board of directors. You have to learn to flex your style. Adaptable. Active listening, I talked about this. What is the difference between listening and active listening?
When you're concentrating on what you're listening to.
Yeah, and you act on it. Because if you tell me something important and it's meaningful to you, then I need to do something about it. That's what corporate active listening is. Okay? Can you, if a friend talks to you, what is active listening? It's providing support, moral support. Let's go for coffee after this. Let's go makan. And so on. That's active listening, doing action as a result of the listening. Business acumen. I don't mean understand the products of the business. So in HR, wow, imagine pharmaceutical, and I told you I don't like science and I cannot do science, right? So you imagine my first year, you're right, I was so terrified because I was like, these cancer drugs are the names. One is for colorectal cancer, ovarian cancer, breast cancer, early stage breast cancer, end stage breast cancer. By the time I go through, there's 17 iterations. If I have to learn the different combinations of the molecules, die standing by me. Okay, so that's not what we're saying. But understand the business acumen means having an idea of we are a leading cancer drug organization in Malaysia. How can we influence the government to make sure, just like Taiwan, Australia, every single woman who is detected with breast cancer will get the best done treatment? Malaysia wants to get there. How can we do that? That is having that sort of a business acumen, right? And finally, communication. Don't have to explain that, but like what I gave an example just now about flexing your style, communication means can you, again, scale up or scale down your communication. If you have one communication style, which is very professional, that's great. But then you may not be able to relate to other people. Okay? I'm sure the way you talk to the kakak when you're buying nasi lemak or chichon fan or rojak or whatever it is you're buying is very different to when you talk to your lecturer. So you're already flexing your communication style. Alright? You apply that back in your workplace. And in the middle of it all, people. Can't run away from that. You have to be comfortable dealing with people. Now, you're thinking, no lah, but I'm sure got scientists and all who work in some deep dark hole and don't deal with people. True, but they still got to consider that. And how many of that jobs are there? But I don't think all of you are doing law because you don't like people. So I'm sure you're fine with this. Okay, but to me, if you keep these evergreen skills, you can really do any job, any industry at any time. Okay? So, in closing,
Oh shit.
sure you know what's coming. That lady, I tell you, thank goodness Dear future lawyer, those were few things you need to know about working in teams. I'm sure you'll see it in good time. Dear future lawyer, those were few things you need to know about the corporate scene as you journey on through life. Find your niche and stay working all the way. Highly skilled, always sure your work will pave the way for opportunities are calling out for free. Take it now, take it right, make the most and say, you've got to know how to work and drive you crazy when the people are so zany in this big corporate world.